Hey, there we are. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Morning Haze. I am Josh Hayes, and it's Monday, and I love Mondays. A lot of people don't like Mondays, but I do because Mondays are the start of Keystrokes Week. And for me, let me shut this off real quick. For me, that means it's a brand new week for writing and a brand new week of shows and a brand new week of hanging out for with everyone of you guys. And speaking of which, welcome to the live chat. Everybody that's there hanging out with me today, welcome. If you're tuning in for the first time, and you haven't checked out the Morning Haze or Keystroke Medium before, please like this video, share it around, and subscribe and get us some visibility on the channel. Uh, I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. I did. I kind of had a lazy Sunday yesterday. Got about 1,500 words, and then just kind of lounged around for the rest of the day, and just kind of enjoyed Sunday, knowing I was gonna rearrange some of my schedule today. Um, I've been I've been having some issues in the morning. Normally, I know a lot of you know this, but normally I get up really early. Around I'm usually in front of the computer by 5, sometimes 4:30. But here lately, my son Carter has been waking up like at 5:36, like right in the middle of my prime time writing time, and it's been screwing me up. Last week it screwed me up a lot, and last week was the first week of going full time, and did really well on Monday, and then after Tuesday, it kind of all went into the crapper. Um, so I made the decision yesterday after he did it again. Woke up at like 5. I was like, well, I'm going to get up a little earlier and see if I can beat him. Because if I can for those of you that don't know, I have two projects going side by side. I have a ghostwriting project and then writing Terra Nova 4 with Richard Fox. And my goal has been get all the ghostwriting words out of the way before the kids wake up in the morning. And then I have all day to work on my other project. And then, of course, do business stuff. And yeah, beat the kid. If I'm looking over here, that's because my live chat window's over here because I'm going to be pushing over here when I do the screen share here in a couple minutes. So, this morning, my alarm went off at 3:30, and my wife told me specifically, if you're going to get up that early, then you better damn well get out of bed on the first alarm, because if you do what you normally do and hit the snooze button 8 times, I'm going to be really pissed off. Fair point. So the alarm went off. I actually did hit the snooze once, but then I got out of bed. I made it out of bed about 3:40. Made it downstairs around 3:45, and I'm just all, ugh. And I've got my coffee pot right here next to the computer. I had reset the timer on that, so it went off, and it was good and ready by the time I got down here. This is my last cup of my second pot of coffee. So I'm a little bit. So I made it down here about 3:45. Got my first cup, kind of sat down and woke up a minute and started kind of pounding out words like almost right before 4 o'clock this morning. Uh, and it was a success. Carter still woke up at 5:30. But at that time I was already an hour and a half in. I was able to go, and my wife is at the gym, so I was able to go get him situated on the couch with some juice and whatever else, turn on a movie for him, and then came back in. And honestly, he didn't bother me at all for like the next hour and a half. So I almost had like 3 hours of good, solid writing time, and managed to knock out, I think, like just over 3,000 words. 3,086 words I got this morning on my ghostwriting project before breakfast. I call that a win in my book. And J.R. Hanley says, "Why not sleep in, work later in the night?" Um, I've tried that before, but my by the time the end of the day comes, my brain is just so bleh. Like I'm not. My brain does not work at nighttime. It used to. I used to be a night owl. I used to be able to just go all day, do whatever I needed to do, and then turn on my creativity after. But now I can't do that. It doesn't work that way anymore for me anyway. My best creativity is when I first wake up in the morning. And so I mean, and I've been doing it for about a year now. So my body's cycled, but I tell you, when I get to about 8:30 at night, I'm like a zombie, just like on Monday nights. It's especially fun because then we have the show, and then right after the show, we get done with the post show, and I'm like, oh, I need to go to bed. So Tuesdays are normally a late start for me. Okay, so let's see. Update on my February words so far. Okay, so I got 3,000 words done on my ghostwriting project. I'm at currently 1,469 words for my Terra Nova project this morning, which puts my total. Where did we go? My total words for February is almost 36,000 for February. So cruising right along for that. Doing very not as well as I hoped originally when I started the month, but it's picking up. I need about 40,000 more words to hit my goal for February, which is 80,000. Um, so um, I don't think anything else is going on for before we jump into this outlining stuff. So I'm gonna go over here and get set up here. For those of you that don't know, Haley Stone's gonna be on the show tonight on live. She wrote "Make Me No Grave," and that's a phenomenal book. If you haven't read that book or listened to it on audio, Oliver Wyman did a fantastic narration of her book. I mean, just spot on and right up there, in my opinion, of the books that I read last year in 2018. There was Brandon Sanderson's Oathbringer, which everybody knows. I know Josh always says Sanderson, take a shot. And then Haley Stone's Make Me No Grave. That's how good this book is. Take my word for it. Go pick it up. And she'll be on the show tonight, 8 p.m. Central on live. Talk about it. Let's see. Walt asks, now that you're full time, will you be growing a beard like Alan Moore? I don't know who Alan Moore is. Is that bad? You'll have an outcut. Now this is it's gonna get a little longer than this, but the wife was very opposed to the Duck Dynasty beard. Yeah, now he's yelling at me. For those listening or not watching, he says WTF. I guess that's in reference to me not knowing who Alan Moore is. I apologize. That's my book. Okay, so let's see. Ooh, Bill Frisbee says you mentioned it before talking about Make Me No Grave. He got it. Great book so far. So cool. Oh, is Alan Moore's ZZ Top? Oh, he wrote Watchmen. Okay. I did not know that. Thank you for educating me. I learned something. Okay, so let's get rid of this stuff here. I and the reason I like to do this, I've considered doing this on the audio podcast, like putting this towards on the audio stream, but I don't think it would translate well without having the video since we're talking about how-tos. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the live chat over here, and then I'm going to share my whole screen. So you can see, let's see, I'm going to move this over here. Oh, look at that. See, it's behind me now. Oh, look, there's a couple of me. There's a couple of me, looking at you, looking at me. Okay, so we are going to share the screen so you guys can see my Scrivener. And then I can still see the live chat. So it's behind you. Okay. So I walked through, obviously this looks a little different than the last walkthrough for Scrivener I did. And That's because I've been doing some work on it. So I took some of your advice and put it on the light mode. Normally, I work it on dark mode. So here, I'll show you the difference. You can change it to dark, and then it does that. I like that better. But some people were saying that it was harder to see. So let me know if it's easier or harder to see in light or dark mode, and I'll change it depending on what the crowd says. Okay, so what I'm doing today, and these 1,469 words are basically snowflaking my outline, or Richard and my outline for Terra Nova 4. Also, I should say, should have said at the beginning, spoiler warning. If you are reading the Terra Nova books, and you don't want to be spoiled by any plot items, then don't watch this video. Do the spoiler warning beforehand and not after, like we normally do. Okay, so get that out of the way here. I wish there was a way I could put like me up here so you could see me talking to you, talking to me, talking to you. Okay, so what we have here, I started out the other day showing you how I pulled the outline. Oh, the text bigger. Yes, the text, the bigger text. I wonder, well, here, I can do that here. I know that. Oh, you know what? Here, let's do this. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's do. Mm, 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 mm. There. How's that? Is that better now that it's bigger? Is it bigger now? You can see it. Is this dictating or plotting again? This is going to be dictation slash plotting, JR. Yeah, that looks a little bigger. Wow. Oh, okay, good. You guys can see it now. All right. So that's my bad. Usually I shrink it all the way down. It's like seeing a whole bunch, but now it's better. Okay. All right. So we started the last video. I was talking about Terra Nova and the outlining process, where I pulled the outline over. And here I can show you on this. No, that's not right. That's not right. Where did I have the whole outline somewhere? I thought I did. Why can I not see it? Okay. I'm not sure where it went, but here I can show you in the doc. Where is the documentation? Terra Nova. Terra Nova 4, and I think this one's it. Yeah. Here, we'll bring this into Scrivener so I can show you, because I broke it up already. So this will be a good comparison. Okay, so here's the original outline. And here up here, okay, so here you can see that we have the beginning Carson scenes. And then we can take this part here, is what it started out with, and this is what it became. And you can see there's a lot more words in there. So what I'm going to do is, I'm getting motion sickness. Yeah, sorry about that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to continue where I was at, which is down here, and then start putting scenes together, but then also kind of flesh them out with dictation, so you guys can see what I do. So where we're at in the story now is we've fought off some of the triumvirate attack on Terra Nova, and we've got a whole bunch of things going on. I use my color coded system here. These are all POVs. They're different POVs. So Carson is red, Ken Hale is blue, Jared Hale is yellow, Mac, the new character from Wings of Redemption, is green. Elias is blue, or light blue. And then there's also another character that's front door's going off. That's my Ring doorbell. My mom's here. Okay, so let's see. So we'll go down to here, which is where I stopped, and basically the Valiant takes some damage um, in an explosion, and this is basically the end of the battle. And then we go down here, and I've changed this a little bit from the original outline because in the original outline we have Carson and her people fighting on the ground, and so this is a different scene. And also, um, yeah, Romans in space. Also, what I've done is the original outline broke it down into POVs. So these are all different POVs, um, taken straight from the outline and then broken apart. And then I'm seeding them into the overall draft here in narrative order. So the Valiant's damaged here, and then um, we are gonna go here. Okay, so they need to get to the surface. Um, and so basically, this Yintel is one of the alien people that are helping, and he is gonna come help. So um, after, eh, let me and let me preface this by saying some words do not translate over from dictation to the screen. So you'll see me talk and then I'll type out names um, because the dictation doesn't like some of the sci fi names. So this is what I do with that big lead up for dictation in Scrivener. And I think this works with any dictation you want. And it's a little different than most. So here we go. Destroys the ship. He contacts Carson and her crew, and they rendezvous to head to Terra Nova and help the surface battle. So this part of my process is basically telling myself the story. So this will flesh out later when I actually start drafting. Um, So here we get down here, and they're picked up by Yentl. Its ice shuttle drops them off. The remnants is what I meant to say here. I'm not sure why that's not remnants. That's why I like dictation because I don't have to spell it. Da, 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 da. Jenna is with them as they're going through the town. Carson and her team fight off several squads of then move in to save Hale. And sometimes the dictation doesn't exactly copy what I want to say, so I've got to go in. Would the program work better if you spoke the King's English? Ooh, maybe I should speak the King's English. Okay, so let's do this. Let's turn off notifications. Mm, 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 mm. There we go. Okay. Um, long live the king. That's right. Okay. So the DBs and Nether Guard, it's just easier to type the letters than it is to say. Um, yeah, I've thought about that too, Guy. And Guy says, why don't you assign regular name to the sci-fi name like James Frigid Tooth, and then replace with the sci-fi name. I've thought about that, but sometimes it's just easier for me to type it out. It just sometimes I get in a roll and don't even use the names. So uh, let's see here. We don't actually need this scene, so I'm gonna delete that and move to trash. So here we go. In this scene here, Hale and Carson decide to go to the Otari homeworld and win this thing. Okay, so we're probably gonna put that after this. So we're gonna move this up here from Jared's scene. And this is another thing that I need to fix too. Format, paste formatting. Sometimes the outline format does not work for what I'm trying to do because it gives it weird um, indentions to just normal. All right, so it says here the emperor is pretty sad about the prince dying. Well, we're going to change that and say the emperor is furious. You see? That's not what I said at all. The emperor. See, it knows what I said. Breaks and smashes things on the bridge, shoots a couple of the elite nether guard. And that time it said what I said. So shoots a couple of the elite nether guard. This time it actually did it. Makes me a fool. Orders the remaining elite nether guard to capture Jared, hold him in position as he approaches with his weapon. The great thing about this is I like this. Well, maybe Josh is Chuck Jingle. It's true. The great thing about this is that the show don't tell aspect of where you're actually telling this yourself the story. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can just be what's happening, and then you can fill it in later. Um, so here we go. About to kill Jared and turns on one of the surviving captains. So we need to have one of the captains say something about the attack. Something about let's see. He's talking about Elias. However, the emperor is still pissed off about the prince dying. So he shoots the captain in the face. And if it would, a lot of it is just like starting and stopping and then talking, um, because it's a lot faster than typing it out, especially in this first draft. And then I might change it later. So it saves a lot of time. Um, let's see, look, we have our counter there. Okay, so let's see. We can line through that, and then the Duke arrives. So maybe he wasn't here. So what I do also for scene direction is I do these brackets. Was not on the bridge at the start of the scene. Enters after the captain is killed. And actually, I can just as the captain. I repeated myself, so I didn't need to. So basically, I just go through the whole outline and do this for all the points. and flesh it out as I go. And so, um, we don't need that. I don't know why these things are here because that doesn't happen yet. So, Guy Anthony Barstow says, "Pounded in the plot by Josh's dictation." Okay, so let's see. We have this one that we need to move up here. Um, so a lot of this we need to, let's see, format and paste formatting to clear it. The Valiant is destroyed and we cannot take it to the home world anytime. Ah, home world. Ship has also been damaged and the hyperdrive engines are not working. One of the ships was captured by the Doughboys and its drive is still working. We can use that to sneak back to so a lot of it is setting up what happens in the last half of the book. And this is going to tie off the series. And so basically, we brought all of these characters that have been separated now for 3 books back together. And so Mac has not been with them, so he's going to have to explain. Mac need to explain who he is and what his relation to the core is, and that he has conversed with and is working with Jared. Knows that they are keeping his family in stasis, but is not sure where they are. Yeah, and Guy says this is a good way to give your wrists a break for to prevent uh, carpal tunnel. And yes, that's true. That's part of the reason I started doing dictation in the first place, because I have carpal tunnel in my wrists. Um, a lot of it is in my left hand. I've got some tingling in my left hand that I see a chiropractor for in that, but it's also faster. So, and I've got the keyboard and the ergonomic mouse, but it's also faster for me to just dictate to every dictate a sentence or two, which takes like 15 seconds to speak it. And if the dictation is working properly, then it's way faster than typing. So anyway, I know that I don't think that everybody wants to watch me type for an hour, but I just figured I'd show a little bit of that dictation process. Um, um, Mac knows the computer systems and is able to hack into the computer and the navigational system to get them to Hale isn't convinced, but there isn't any other options. None of their ships are going to be able to make the journey. So there we go. Okay. Um, Let me stop this. So anyway, that is bring the live chat over here. That is just a little taste of my process, as it were. It's not really exciting to watch. Sometimes it's not really exciting to do. But as you can see, I mean, we started at what do we start out at 1400 something words, and now we're almost at 1800 words. And I mean, I really did no work at all. I mean, most of the time I was just talking, but you bust out 400 words and you know 10 or 15 minutes, and that adds up over the day, especially if you only have 30 or 40 minutes to write. I used to do this in outline form, which I still kind of do when I'm outlining, but when I'm actually like fleshing it out like this, I like to leave the formatting as it would be if it's written in the draft, and that way I don't have to change the formatting later. I can just do paragraphs and speak in paragraphs. Um, there are some times where I will type in like quotation marks and all that stuff. Um, but like right now, when I'm just trying to make sure I have the exact points of the scenes down, I don't worry about all that stuff. Sometimes I'll have like a Carson said and then just say it without the punctuation. So anyway, that's it for today. Let's see. Josh, do you find it inconvenient to have to go back and refer to the rough draft when you're do you find it inconvenient to have to go back and refer to the rough draft when you're writing the more finished product? Um, Only if I have forgotten something that it didn't make it over to the actual story draft. And that's one of the reasons I like going back and kind of snowflaking the outline is um, a lot of people that I have talked to when they get into the draft and they start writing and they're actually like writing out their draft and going chapter by chapter by chapter. Sometimes they'll forget either things that have happened before where they're writing at or stuff that has to happen after. I guess if you're a gardener or a pantser, that actually doesn't that actually happens just because of the nature of your writing. But for outliners, I know that there are some outliners that um, get to a point and they forget what happened or it's not fresh in their mind, and then they've got to go refresh after. And that's why I kind of try to do it this way, so I've got the outline, I go and snowflake everything in the outline, and then while I'm doing that, make sure that it fits everywhere else. And then when I go back to actually write the draft, everything, if I've done it right, everything should fall into place, and I don't have to remember what happens before and after because I've already gone through basically an entire draft of making sure that everything makes sense all the way through. Um, and it doesn't take that long. Like it for what I had there, it took me maybe a day or so to get to that point here. I'll definitely have finished the outlining snowflake. Sounds so weird. The outlining portion of this, I'll probably have that finished by this afternoon. And then, depending on that, or if I have time, I'll go back and start fleshing out more of those scenes and adding more to it. I think this is going to be a really involved book. So it's probably going to be the longest of the four. Wings of Redemption, I think, was just over 80 something thousand, and that one was longer than the previous two. And this one, by the nature of the story, is going to be way longer than that. We're probably aiming at about 100,000 for this one, so we'll see. But anyway, thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me on Mondays, the morning haze. Um, we will, what do we have? We have tonight, we have Haley Stone, and Make Me No Grave on live. I don't know what I'm gonna do Wednesday. Wednesday, we'll have to come up with something. I've got a couple ideas, a couple things rolling around in here. But if you guys think of anything that you want me to expand on or talk about, let me know in the comments or send me a message on Facebook or just post it in the Keystroke group. If you're just tuning in, go back and watch the rest of it. It's kind of a boring video today, and just by the nature of what I was talking about today, it was kind of not exciting. But trust me, sitting in front of here and voice dictating all day, and you guys know writing is not exciting. I know there's a lot of questions about how many submissions we received. We got a whole bunch. We got a whole bunch, and Ellen and I are working through right now, breaking those down, reading them. Deciding which ones are going to be selected and which ones are not. And so we should have that narrowed down probably by the end of the week. So we got a lot of submissions, more than I thought we were going to get. Um, and a lot more than the fantasy one, I could tell you that. So it's going to take a little bit longer to kind of go through them. A lot of the ones that we've had for a couple weeks now, they are really good. Like, we use a kind of a scale to rate them on, and all of the stories that we have received so far, with the exception of 1 or 2, have been in, like, 4.5, 5 out of 5. Really excited to see this collection, happen, and I'm really excited about all the stories that we've received so far. The Finally, today, the paperback version of Kingdoms of Iron and Stone is available on Amazon. You can go buy it if you were wanting a paperback copy of that collection. If you haven't bought the ebook, go pick up the ebook. Support Keystroke and support the authors that wrote some fantastic stories for that collection. And yeah, we'll be back tonight to talk to Haley Stone. Come back and hang out with us then. And until next time, we will see you guys later. Peace.